Good morning. Continuing with economic planning in India, we'll study about the second plan, the targets and aims of the second plan. The main aim of the second plan or the goal of the second 5-year plan in India was to increase industrialization or increase the pace of industrialization in India. Now, why? Because industries are important for economic development. Now, some of the importance of industries or significance for industries for economic growth are that they are vital for economic growth, means they are very important for the growth of the economy or the country to increase production of the country. The second is they create a lot of employment or they give a lot of employment opportunities. So industries are essential or industrialization is essential in a developing country. Manufacturing offers lot of employment opportunities. Then it imparts dynamism to economic growth. That means it encourages economic growth. It takes it to a second level. That means it increases the employment opportunities, increases the output of the country, and increases the income of the people. Now, the next reason why industries are important because industrial growth leads to infrastructural growth. That means wherever industries are established, it leads to the overall development of the area or the region. That means development of roadways, railways, hospitals, schools, educational institutions, and societies. Then the next importance is that industries lead to the overall progress of the economy, which is necessary for a developing economy like India. Now, what was the pattern of industrial development in India or how industrial development in India was to be achieved? We are going to study something about it. So, industrialization in India was to be undertaken by the public sector mainly. Public sector or public enterprises, those enterprises owned and controlled by the government, because government was playing the main role of development in a mixed economy of our country like India. So, what were the importance of public sector or how the thrust was laid on the public sector for industrial development? Now, the importance of public sector and private sector, what are the lackings in private sector, we are going to study about it. So public sector was considered important for industrial development because private sector lacks capital. Capital, that is investment. Industrial development needs huge investment and it is not possible for private individuals to carry it out. Apart from it, in India at that time, there was low inducement to investment in private sector. Private people were thinking that it is a risky thing to invest in industries because nothing was known about it. Another importance is that industries take long gestation period, or it means from inception to profit earning there's a long period. Until then the investment is locked, so it will become difficult for the private people to maintain it. Now, why public sector was considered important is that the main aim of the government was social justice and welfare of the people. So it is only that the private sector could undertake it. Now, considering all these things, the Industrial Policy Revolution was passed in 1956. Under this policy, the industries were classified into three groups. The first group, which was exclusively for public sector industries under these heads, would be exclusively under the public sector, that is under the government. They consisted consisted of industries like basic and key industries, capital goods industries, strategic goods industries. So these were to be set up only in the public sector undertakings. The second classification was the sector which considered or the enterprises that had private entrepreneurs as setting up industries. So, industries that could be developed both in public and private enterprises, that is, pharmaceuticals, drugs, chemicals, oil, these things were to be considered under both the sectors. And the next was industries, all private industries, private sector enterprises other than the first and the second category. The industries which were set up earlier that were neither under the first category or the second category. So it was important. Then two things came out of it, that is industrial licensing and industrial concessions. Industrial licensing for regulating industrial establishments, that is avoiding concentration of wealth in few hands, and industrial concessions means promoting balanced industrial growth, no regional imbalances. So all regions develop properly and in the same way. So these two things, industrial licensing and industrial concessions, were considered important. Thank you.